How y'all doing out there? Welcome to the side, Jawn. I'm your host, Dennis Holmes. I have my co-host with me, the Chocolate Girl. How you doing out there, Chocolate?
Chocolate Girl is doing pretty good. You have to excuse my voice. I'm a little hoarse today. Had an exciting week. I'll just leave it at that, but I'm glad to be here. How are you doing out there in Philly?
I'm doing good in Philly. It's a little cold out here, but we got a guest here today. We got Chadwick George in the building, aka D-Wick. What's going on,
Yo,
Chad?
yo. How we doing today, guys? Appreciate you having me on. Excited to be here. How we doing, everybody?
All right.
Doing great. It's good to have you.
It definitely is good to have you today. I think we should just, well, first of all, Chad, where have you been, man? Well, let me get that out the way, because a lot of people here, that ain't seen you in a while. We watch your social media. We see you traveling a lot. You got a baby on the way. Congratulations, and you're getting married.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, made a move earlier in the year. Well, early last year, probably June. Made it. Went from Cincinnati to Houston. So obviously that took some time. Been working obviously, but been to Dubai, been to Miami. So just been traveling a lot. Enjoying my time with my fiance, and then obviously preparing for our baby. But just been traveling, having fun, and really just enjoying life. Really been enjoying life to the fullest right now.
I ain't mad at you. Listen, so we get into this show today. I'm glad to have Chad here, man. It's been a long time since we did the vault. And then we got Sharon here too. So it's like the side Joan mixed with the vault. It's like just a big mixture today. But I want to talk about some other things before we get into sports. One of the things I want to talk about is, the lies out there that people tell. You know what I mean? They'll tell they're like the same lies every day. You'll get women out there talking about oh, he's a good man. He would never do that. Or they tell somebody, you'll see somebody and they're going through something, but they'll be like, you'll be like, hey man, how you doing? They always say, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good. Knowing deep down inside, they're going through a whole lot. They need somebody to talk to, Or you got other people out there saying, women, oh, he would never hit the kids, or I don't look that bad. What do you have to say to those people out there, Chad? We're going to ask you first. You the host. You the guest.
100%, yeah, absolutely.
Yourself, really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I said, as Sharon just said, lies that you tell yourself. And obviously, like I said, once again, is that sometimes it takes some self-realization, though, too, as well. Some people, it's denial to an aspect, and it's just because they're used to it, but it's some self-realization that needs to be to an aspect so they can realize that, hey, it's not okay at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's not, especially on a couple of aspects that you just said, it's not okay. I've seen instances of it where you have to sit down, you just have to talk to them, and that's if they have friends, that's where they come in place. Because sometimes they need that stern talking. At the end of the day, they need that support system. At the end of the day, obviously, it's not going to change immediately. I've seen people in situations for multiple years, and it took that one breaking point for it to happen where it was okay, they're finally done. But you just got to support them through it, though. Even if you feel like it is a bonehead decision, even if you feel like they're in a bonehead relationship, you got to sit there and support them through it. You can talk to them all they want, but sometimes people are stubborn. They won't listen all the time. But that support there, though, will ultimately, hopefully, get them out of that bad situation for them to realize it, though. Obviously, though, always making sure that you have them for their helping hand as well, though.
Okay. What'd you feel, Sharon?
A lot of what Chad was saying that I agree with, and when I came up with this topic, this is what I was thinking about. We all have those friends who what we call perpetrate, and they come out. Not only do they pretend to be something they aren't, but they pretend that their life is something that it's not. And we all can see that they need help or something, and they think that they're hiding the truth from other people, but they really aren't. And it can be quite dangerous sometimes, depending upon what the real circumstances are. And so that's where this came from. I think about myself sometime. A lot of people, when they see me, one of the things they say is that I'm always positive. I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. I'm not just a person that just walk around with a scowl on my face or negative and the world is awful, woe is me, this is terrible. That is not who I am. They have no idea what's going on the inside. So if I happen to open up and share some things with them, their mind is blown. They're because they don't know what you're going through. I don't look like what I've been through. That's a common saying, and that's me. But that is not exactly what I meant by the lies we tell ourselves. It's more of the denial thing. For instance, you go to a job every day that you don't really like, but it pays the bills. Let's say it pays well, but you don't like the job, you don't like the people. And so you'll tell, everybody say, well, how's the job? Oh, it's great. It's great. It ain't great. You could have somebody they're harassing you at work in any kind of way, multiple ways. And you'll stick through it because you don't want anybody to know that you're going through that. Or you don't want to face the fact that you need to make a change. You may be fearful of making the change. You might feel like, I don't know where else to go. Or you may feel, I don't know how to get there. So instead of doing that, you're just in a constant denial about your true circumstances. A lot of people use that for a coping mechanism too. They don't know how else to cope, so they just don't face it. And that becomes telling yourself all these lies so that you can make it more palatable than it is. It's something that we all end up doing at one point in our lives, I believe. I don't believe that anybody escapes it, even if it's only for a short time. What do you think about that, Chad?
Well, I'm gonna say, I know some people that when I'm going through things, I know some people I can talk to, but everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
That's a big problem. Like, it's hard to trust people with everything that you got to offer, and for them to, to just genuinely be a friend and take it in. Some people you can tell all this stuff to, and then, when they get too drunk or, when they going through one of their emotional moments, they throw it right back in your face. And that ain't really something that you're trying to hear. You came to them, just trying to get something off your chest, having somebody to talk to, because some things you need to talk to somebody about. And, more people would actually sit, get drunk, and talk to a stranger than they would to go to therapy. That's a lot what I noticed that as well. So it's kind of like
right,
steps
too.
to it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you're right about that because they don't have that fear of real connection with that stranger. And see, the stranger they'll never see again. So they feel there's no judgment.
Right.
And it's that judgment that people are afraid of. They're afraid.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, if I'm vulnerable and share this with you, you're gonna judge me in a negative way. Go ahead, Chad, and say what you were
doing. And that's actually I was gonna hit on with like kind of what you guys both were saying is that a lot of the day people don't like talking to even their friends or family nowadays because they get judged. And it seems that no one wants to be judged as well, especially when you're going through certain stuff. And it's more such that's just it's gonna hinder them and it's gonna hinder their growth that they're trying to do or hinder what they're trying to say. And it's gonna keep them in that same position. So I have seen that though, that talking to a stranger is better than talking to a friend or family sometimes. Because once again, a stranger won't judge you because they don't know you. They have nothing about you. You get what you got to get off your chest. It's over. over and done with. And sometimes that's just what you need at the end of the day. So luckily, like as Dennis said, though, sometimes people don't have those type of friends where they'll throw it back at you at your face, or they'll use it when you're at your weakest moment. Some people don't have that. So and that's one thing too, that, like I said, just doesn't benefit sometimes.
Agree.
But then there's other people out there that just don't know that they're going through stuff. They think the things that they're going through is actually normal part of life.
Mm-hmm.
They actually don't know that they're going through trauma. So to them, yeah, it is okay.
You're right, especially if they've gone through trauma in their childhood that they never dealt with, or didn't realize, or don't remember, and so they don't know why they're acting out the way they are now, because they've got some suppressed things going on from their past. Anything. You've got people in your life. I'm sure we all have people in our life that have had some challenging childhoods, and they get older and they haven't dealt with those things, and sometimes it can cause them to be a certain way, and they don't even realize that's where it's coming from. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But one more thing, I wanted to ask you guys a question. This leads to a question I have. What do you say to the people who who have had things, intimate things shared with them, and then they take that information and use it as a weapon against that person? What do you say to that person that does that type of thing?
I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first, Jen.
Absolutely.
Space.
And just so I understand, you're just saying to people that just basically tell that information though, that was told to them. Yeah, 100%.
And they throw it back at them. And when they're in their weakest moment, like you were saying, they throw it back at them. Oh yeah, just like you, that type of thing.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, and just for those people, just in general, like obviously someone told you this stuff in confidence. They didn't expect it to get thrown back to you just because you're going through something. Because usually that's, as I said, that's usually when you see it, is when that person's going through something. So they throw it back to you. Take a second, and this is what I always say, you got to take a second and digest. Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't like the same thing feeling. I'm very into, hey, treat others how you want to be treated, but also with respect, though. Treat them with respect. And then also, if somebody told you something in confidence and that they expect you not to throw that back to you, to make sure that doesn't get thrown back at them. Actually sit there and talk to them. Don't throw it at your weakest moments. If you can't talk to them right now, if you feel like you're not able to talk to somebody at the moment, or you feel like you are about to get to that moment, take that step back and just go do your own thing right now. You don't have to be around people all the time too as well. That's another thing that what happens is they go do stuff they don't want to do because they expect themselves to get out the house, or they expect themselves that this is going to make them feel better. And then that's when the outburst happens. Don't do that. Sit to yourself sometimes, but also too, be cautious of that. Be cautious of that too. Because sometimes sitting in the house by yourself, it can get you into that deep depression state. But the main thing is though, just like I said, it's not helping anybody. Honestly, you're breaking a friendship apart with that. I've seen so many friendships broken apart with that. I've seen so many people disrespected. I've seen so many people getting fights because of that. There's no reason to. Like I said, to take that step back is rather silence than rather than not, and then rather than throwing something in someone's face.
Yeah, because throwing it in somebody's face, really shows you that level of friendship. Like, it's either this friendship is building or it's breaking down. And when you do something like that, you just broke the friendship down. Now I know exactly how to treat you as a friend. Like, you good at this, and this. I can't talk to you about this and this. You ain't the one that I could come talk to about certain things. All I could do is, talk to you about this and this, and maybe we go out and party, but that's what you're good for. You start to put people in special boxes of where they are in your life. And those are just certain things that you just don't want to hear. And is that a good point where you just be like, and it mess up relationships too. Like, because you could be with your woman and you could be sitting there, y'all could be having pillow talk, and you tell her something that's, that you feel as though you never told nobody else because this is your girl, and you think, y'all building on something. Next thing you know, she told the family. Now the whole family sitting there talking about you on the stuff, which is something that should have been kept in house. So it's like, who can you run to? That's all it is. Who can you run to?
Well, I think both of you guys are very nice when you're talking about these people. And see, I'm a little different than you, Dennis, in that if someone does that to me, I don't feel like I can talk to them about anything. Anything. If I tell them something in confidence in one of my vulnerable moments, especially if they use it as a weapon against me or they spread it to other people, I can't trust to tell them anything. Nothing. I don't even want to tell them any of my thoughts, any of my concerns, passions, hopes, dreams, nothing. I just don't want to share anything else with them because I feel like I can't trust them. And trust is huge with me. Now, if I have to be around this person because we have mutual friends or what have you, or we work together or we're in the same organization, I will be pleasant and respectful and professional. But that's it. That's it. It's all business with me now. There's no intimacy in any type of way. I'm not letting you in here. Not in my bubble. You'll be outside the bubble from then on out. You don't get to have that because I consider who I let in and close to me, I consider that to be a privilege of other people because, and I think that's how we all need to think of it, not in an elitist or an arrogant type of way, but friendships are a privilege. They're not guaranteed with anyone, And that's how I see it. That's just how I see it. So yeah, those people, I don't have much patience for people like that. There's such a thing as fighting fair too. When you're angry with someone, you can have your disagreements, and if you're going to quote unquote fight, you need to fight fairly. That's something we talked about in our last show with Adam and Mary. When you have a disagreement, being fair. Shout out to Adam and Mary out there in Cali. Last guest with us, great show. And that's one of the things we talked about. When you have your disagreements, fighting fair.
Yeah. That was BJ is crazy on here. I just gotta let that be known.
I saw it in the comments.
Yeah, BJ is in the comments.
BJ is just, BJ is from Baltimore, so you gotta kind of take that, Baltimore. Be more.
I don't know if he east side or west side. I keep forgetting. Let me get that out the way. Put it in the comments, BJ. You east side or west side?
I'm gonna say it don't matter which side. That's what I'm gonna say. It's B more. It's B more. That's what I'm gonna say.
He said,
"Now I've seen." Now let me just say this next subject. I've heard and seen these problems, in my lifetime a lot. And let me get through this. We're calling this I ain't babysit. They said the grandma won't babysit unless she gets paid. Is she wrong?
Can I give a little bit backstory with that, where that came from?
Yes, you sure can.
All right, because I have the article up. There was this is what she said. I'm open to spending time with my grandson, but I explained to her that I would like a payment of $12 an hour. She claims that she cannot afford it, even with her $22 an hour job. I'm not a daycare. I have my own life. This is what the grandmother said. So to explain, young mother, working full time, that gets to be a little hard. You've got kids, you got, responsibilities, you have life. Sometimes you do need grandma or expect grandma and granddaddy to help out with your kids and not charge you. This is not like a business. If I could pay a babysitter, I would pay a babysitter, not the grandmother. That's what the daughter is saying. She's 29. She has a 1-year-old son. She's going back to work. She works 5 days a week, 7 to 8 hours a day, from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And she asked the grandmother if she would be willing to babysit her son either 2 or 3 days a week. And grandmother was like, yeah, I'm open to spending time, but I want that $12 an hour. And the daughter came back. I didn't know this part before. She understood the need for the payment, she said, but the grandmother, this is what the grandmother said. Then she lowballed me with requesting $10 an hour because she claims that she cannot afford it, even with her $22 an hour job. She explained that she had a life of her own, and if she was going to be taking time off to tend to the grandchild, she needed to be compensated. I have my own life. I'm not a daycare. I work for myself. I think she should understand that I'd be giving up my time when I work from home. And if I'm going to be giving up that time, then I need money to replace that time I'm giving up from my job. That seems practical, right? I mean, that just really seems really basic and logical. Okay, I'm working, I'm giving that up to take care. So I need to, that to be compensated, is what she says. And she says, while I'm working at home, I can't simply work and watch her child at the same time. She says it's only 2 to 3 days a week. Since her husband's parents, so she is married, her husband's parents are babysitting on the other 2 to 3 remaining days while she works. And she'd be providing food. So I love my grandson, but as I stated, I'm not a daycare. And so she asked people, well, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? She was asking, I guess, those people in Reddit, wherever that is.
Go ahead, Chad, what you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I say you guys both have kids and I am on the way with one. I would be pretty upset. Me personally, I would be pretty upset from the kids aspect of that. I would have to pay my mom to watch the kid. Now, although I do understand where she's coming from, she does have a job. She's not a daycare, and she does have a job. I just think it comes to a gray area, I would say, because obviously if both of the parents were asking for a compensation for watching it, then I think it would be a little bit more acceptable. But in this aspect, I think it seems like one of the parents are asking for compensation, the other one isn't. Now, obviously, different situations can be a part. One of them being, like I said, other one might work, other parents might not. But me personally, like I said, this is time for you to spend with your grandson. I just would be a little bit upset when it came to if my mom was asking me to pay her for it. Now, from the mom side, though, I get it. Like I said, she's not a daycare. She has her own life. She does have money to make. Even though she is working from home, a kid is a lot of attention. You have to pay that attention. So it's kind of tough in that aspect. Now, if my mom was to ask for a compensation per hour for it, I would pay it. Like I said, I wouldn't mind. Would I be upset? Yes. But I would pay it. I would take the side right now of the kid though, well, of the lady with the child. But I do understand where her mom is coming from. I would be upset though if I would have to pay my mom to watch my child. Or her grandbaby, I should say.
Okay. Me, I feel as though she's only charging her $12.50 because she knows she get paid $22 an hour. This is why everything ain't for everybody. It's exactly why. Because if you would have told her you was making $12 an hour, then what she would have charged? $6 an hour? Because it just seemed like she just want half.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody don't need to know what you get paid. I be telling people, stop bragging about how much you make an hour. Because everybody ain't in your best interest of what you make an hour. Just tell people you got a job. Well, I got a job. That's why a lot of people be like, how much you made today, then? Oh, about $1. $1 a day. $1 a day. That's all I make. That's all I'm worried about. And
so would you be upset if your mother told y'all you had to pay her to keep a child?
No, I wouldn't be upset about that. I was just I'm more so upset that you just used my $22 an hour to calculate exactly what you want. That's the part I'm upset about.
So yours is well, somebody else shared your opinion. It's really interesting that you say that, because this person, because when you post things on Reddit, people can comment, right? And one of the people responded, says, "You're an a-hole." Called her a straight a-hole and said, "And you're not an a-hole because you're asking to get paid. You're an a-hole for trying to screw your daughter out of 2/3 of her paycheck." So he went right where you went, then. Right where you went.
Right. Now, if you say something like, "Listen, I watch your son, but I need you to pay the light bill." No problem. I understand it. You ain't got no lights. How you supposed to be watching somebody?
Right.
I would rather do it like that. Give me a bill, I'll pay a bill. Except for the cable bill. I ain't paying no cable.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing in these comments to that person is more about the amount. Right. Because if she's making $22 an hour, to ask for $12 to $15 an hour from her for that is a little bit much.
It's ridiculous, but her, she thinking
that's 2/3 of her money.
She thinking about daycares get that much money. Maybe they do. That's why.
No, actually, they get more. Sometimes.
They get more. I think they get more.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who you would never guess get those vouchers for daycare from the county and state and so forth because of their income level, and they just cannot afford it. But we have to have it. I don't see how people make it now with children now, because I remember when my son, I was having to pay $150 a week. They're paying $500 and $600 and $700. I don't understand. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it well. I found out that a lot of people who've never had to get any type of assistance before qualify for the vouchers.
Right.
Which is amazing. And some people, that's the only assistance that they need and get. They don't need stamps. They don't need that. But the child care assistance, that's what they need.
That child care in Philadelphia is called CCIS. It's a big building on Broad Street, full of women. I always wanted to be a security guard at CCIS because I know they got mercy.
See, that's a whole nother. That's a denticism.
That was the old school hoe in me. I wanted to be a security guard at CCIS building. Terrible. That's what I wanted to be. But I mean, the daycares cost just as much as private schools. If you don't qualify for none of those vouchers or anything, they cost just as much as private schools. But that's the reason why the child ain't in daycare. And a lot of people don't trust their child to be in daycare until their child can talk. That's another thing I learned.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. My child didn't go to a daycare until he could relatively talk a little.
And see, it's not like, before where you can walk in the daycare and get a tour and honestly see, okay, this is a good daycare. You can't see that now. First of all, you getting a visit. On that visit, they're gonna be on their best behavior. You don't know that that's a traumatizing place for a child. You don't know if they got your child sleeping all damn day and ain't really doing nothing with it, ain't teaching them nothing.
Well, the best you can do is go online and look at the ratings, because you can go to there's several websites out there that that post reviews of daycare centers. But you're absolutely right. You can't just go by the reviews either, because you might have had some parents that weren't the best parents getting mad because they told them they couldn't bring their kids back, and they might go on there and just put a lie. So you can't always rely on that either. So you're right. But Yeah, so here's how I feel. I'm about to be a grandmother for the first time in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm,
I'm
congratulations.
thank you. And I'm just getting excited. I know I don't look like it, but I will be a grandma. And I'm getting excited for his arrival. It's a boy. And really excited. But you know, when my son first told me about the baby, I reminded him of talks that we had long time ago, where I told him, now listen, I'm not to keep the grandchild every week, go to grandma's house, stay up all weekend, every weekend type of grandma. That's not how I'm going to be. I'm going to be a great grandmother, but I'm not going to be keeping the child every week on a regular basis. And he was like, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. Well, now the child is coming. So I'm hoping that, he still feels that way. But this is my whole thing about this situation. If this couple has also enlisted his parents to keep the baby while they work, there's a need. I don't feel like they're doing it just so that they can keep their money and go floss in the street, get rims, get Super Bowl tickets. I don't think that's what it is, because I feel like if both parents, if he had to go to his, now you're talking about a man, if he had to go to his parents and ask them about keeping this child, and he's the man, he's the main provider supposedly. I'm making a lot of assumptions because I don't know their background, but they are husband and wife. Okay. For a man to go to his parents and ask them to keep 2 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week, their son so they can work. And again, she said it was so they could work. She didn't say so they could go date night. She didn't say so she can go to her sorority meeting. She didn't say anything like that. Or I don't want to have my child in church yet because they're too young and I just don't want that distraction. No, she said so they can work. Now, as a grandmother, I have three choices. One, I could either help them with their child daycare or child care expenses by helping to give them money to help supplement the cost of daycare so they could work. Now, of course, this is my choice. It's not a have to, but I'm a grandmother, right? Two, I could charge them like this grandmother was attempting to do. Or three, I could consider the fact that they're asking me this out of need so that they can earn a living. I can just say, okay, I may not be able to do it 2 to 3 days every week or 1 to 2 days every week instead of 2 to 3. You get what I'm saying? Maybe I can't do it 3 days a week, but I might be able to do it 1 to 2. I'm working from home and it's hard. Plus it depends on the age of the child. That's the thing. It doesn't say in the story how old the child is. I didn't see that in there.
No, I said the child was 1.
Was it 1? Oh, I'm sorry. That is the first thing I said. And I forgot what I said at first beginning by now. Yep. Well, 1 year old, when they're 1, they're not walking yet. So mainly what you get is a playpen with toys, with squish toys and stuff for them to crawl around in the playpen where it's safe while you work. And you hopefully have noise canceling headphones on while you're working if you have phone work to do. That's what you do. So you got to be creative if you're going to keep a child while you're working. That's my point. I know people who work from home. They've kept their grandchildren while they've worked from home before. And that's what they have to do. It takes time. It takes cooperation, communication, patience, creativity to do it. It's not impossible depending upon your job. So a lot of factors involved. I can't give a hard, fast no, but I can't imagine that I would charge them. But that's me. I would not charge them to keep the child. But I don't think I could do it 3 days a week. I probably would do it 1 to 2 days a week.
Okay. All right.
And oh, wait a minute. The main reason why I forgot to say this too. The main reason why is I was a single mom when my child was young. I was a single mom. I raised him by myself for the most part. And as a single mom, moving to areas where I had no family, I certainly appreciated it when I started out with my son and I lived in the same city with my mom and dad. I was working Tuesday through Saturday. At the time, this was in the 90s, there was no Saturday daycare. There was no Saturday daycare. What was I going to do? That was my work schedule that I had to take this job. And the job paid about 4 or 5 times as much money as the job that I was working.
Mm.
So when I talked to my parents about it, they saw the opportunity, ended up having full benefit, the whole 9. I mean, great job, lots of money, lots of future, all of that. Saturday, keeping them, it was a no-brainer for them. My mom was still working. My dad was retired. But she didn't work on Saturdays, but they kept him every Saturday while I worked from 8 to 5. And never once did she charge me, but I did things for them. Like I would come cook them Sunday dinner many times. I would come clean their whole house. I would do things that, to help supplement their lives. So it was a trade-off. So what I'm
Which
saying
is that's how it's supposed to
be
be.
creative, huh?
That's how it's supposed to be.
Right. Be creative with it instead of just saying a hard, fast, pay me or no.
And then you gotta, another thing is you also gotta appreciate the people that watch your kids, because
Yes.
you could get some bad people watching your kids.
You do. That's very true.
You have to appreciate people that watch your kids. I actually learned that from my aunt when I was younger, because she used to always call me, to watch the kids, and I used to wonder, she would always overpay me, and I'd be like, and I used to ask her like, well, why are you always, you always calling me to make sure? She was like, because I know they in the best care when they with you. That's one thing I know for sure, and they have a good time. And I don't have no problems. I could call a house 2 times and immediately, the kids are being there having a good time. And you watch the kids, you watch the house, you make sure things is clean. I was like, yeah, so we sitting here having fun. But I just never understood. She was like, there's so many bad people out here. You got molesters, you got people that don't even like kids. Try to hurt them. You got people who snatching kids nowadays. You got to appreciate your babysitters. That's what you have to do. You have to appreciate your babysitters.
I agree.
She taught me that at a young age.
Oh, yeah. And you do, because, they have access to the most precious thing you've ever created on earth. That's your child.
Yeah.
And crazy as I am, I always said somebody hurt my child, it's a wrap. Somebody going down quickly without hesitation. And that, that's always in the back of your mind. So you tend to, you operate with that in mind. You're not playing when it comes to who you pick to be in charge of your child while you go do what you have to do. I'm gonna read some of these comments. Chuck Thomas said, my grandma better not. I guess talking about, asking for payment. He said, my grandma better not. And BJ said, man, ain't shiggity free anymore. That's true. And Chuck Thomas said $2.50 an hour paid, plus took them out to dinner when my grandparents watched the kids. Yeah, you you do whatever you got to do. You just got to be creative. And Donovan said, "What's up, Chad?" And Chuck said they were retired, and he makes $2 a day. Oh, Chuck said he's sending you a bill to pay, Dennis. Since you don't want to tell us how much you make, it must be enough. He gonna send you a bill to pay. And said, "Congrats for me becoming a grandma. Thank you." And he also said, "I would change once I hold the baby." No, I won't change. I know me. I'm gonna love this baby. I cannot wait. But I know the responsibility that comes with parenthood. I also know the way you teach the parents is by taking that stance. You can't be there to rescue them at every moment, or they won't learn. That's your child. You have to be responsible first. So I know I'm going to have to pull back. I can't be in there doing all that. I mean, you can't. As a grandma, I feel like that's my role. And Chuck said, Eagle fans watching kids. Yeah, Eagle fan.
I ain't starting.
Shout out to Sheila Mullen, my sister. She said, "I will have a set schedule for 2 days a week, 6-week trial." This is my sister right here, a 6-week child. Nobody thought about doing it on a trial basis. Neither one of us, Chad, Dennis, me, we didn't think about that.
She pre-planned. She pre-planned.
Yeah, she's a planner. I would have a set schedule for 2 days a week, 6-week trial to see how I could adjust since I'm still working, no charge. We have got to support each other, especially our children who are trying to progress. I agree with that 100%. And let me say this last thing about Sheila and I. See, we didn't grow up with our grandmother right in town with us. So we appreciated the fact that there are grandmas taking care of, that's what we thought they're supposed to do, right? But we didn't have that from our grandmother growing up. So our next door neighbor, who was an older lady, was our surrogate grandmother. And she wasn't even related to us, right? She was just our next door neighbor and adored my parents, and they adored her. And we would go over there, and she would keep us a lot for my parents. Like if mom had to work on a weekend or something sometime. And I remember spending days over at, weekends at her house and so forth. So that happens. It's good if you can have somebody in your neighborhood. If you don't have grandmothers around you, if you have someone like that will take on that role. But it is a certain role as grandparents. And I'm going to embrace it, but I'm not going to be taken advantage of. But I don't think that they would try to do that anyway.
Well, I was kind of spoiled. My grandma lived across the street from my great grandma.
Wow. Wait a minute. Which one had the chitlin hoagie? Who was that?
That was my grandma. My grandma had the chitlin hoagie. My great grandma was she did most of the baking.
There it is.
Because the oven was broke at my grandma's house. So we had to go to great grandma's house to bake cookies and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it was across the street. That was the crazy thing. Right across, directly across the street. Like you look out the window, right there. Like we was 131, great grandma 132.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sure that was a great experience. And like I said, we knew what that was like with the next door neighbor when we were little. But later on in elementary school and then going on through high school, no, we didn't have that. Yeah. She passed away. The neighbor passed away when we were little, young, really young.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So we didn't have that. We had lots of aunties and uncles, though, friends of my parents, lots of them up here, but we didn't have any blood relatives where we live. So we
you talking about that big house you had with the what system you had in your house? The
intercom system.
The intercom system, exactly.
and the central vac. We had a central vac.
They're not gonna call it an intercom system when I get my house. It's just gonna be called Bluetooth speakers in every room, but I'm gonna have me one as well.
That's cool. Bluetooth speakers is one thing. Intercom is something different.
Right.
It's something different. It really, because it's, anyway, I'm not going to belabor it. We can move on, but it was great. I'll just say it was wonderful to have music playing all day in every room of the house if you wanted it.
Right. That's exactly how I want it.
To have music just playing all the time. We loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'll just say that. Oh, shout out to my sister. She is in the comments, but I'm going to say shout out to my sister because she is one of the best grandmothers I have ever seen. She is awesome. She's been my example. Like I said, I'll have my first grandchild in a few weeks, and I have watched her and learned a lot in this role. It's very different than being a mom. I'm excited because of what I've seen her do. So shout out to my sister. You guys, I'm gonna applaud my sister. She is an awesome, awesome grandmother.
That's good. That's definitely good.
Awesome. Love you, Sheila. Love my sister. Woo.
Well, we have our first letter, as we would call it, advice from the Sergeant.
Oh,
our first.
I don't get letters. We get letters, y'all.
We got our first letter. So let me go ahead and read it. Dear Side Jawn, question. How do you go on when your husband decides he no longer wants to be in the marriage? That's the question. All right. He blames you for everything and won't take responsibility for his actions, forming emotional and maybe even physical relationships with multiple women. I am pregnant and I have a young child. I am sinking in so deep into depression. He's not willing to fight for our marriage or work out the problems. He says that he was unhappy for a while and that this was inevitable. I've tried so hard. I wasn't happy all the time, but I love my husband and I wanted the marriage to last. What happened to, for better or for worse? He's hurt me in the past and I've forgiven him. Now he acts like I'm such a terrible wife and mother that he's willing to throw away everything without even considering getting help or work through our issues. I was so young when I met him. I dedicated 10 years to this man who himself wasn't perfect. I'm in a really dark place and I can't seem to think clearly. I need advice, please. I just don't know how to move forward. Some things are always easier said than done. Now, Chad, we're gonna let you go first on this one. You are the guest.
And you said they've been together for how long? 10 years?
10 years. She dedicated 10 years to this man.
Absolutely. So this is a tough one, obviously, and this is just me. Obviously, you guys know I'm younger, but this is me speaking this out of my sheer knowledge and this thought on it. Obviously, if you feel like, and you obviously, I would sit down and talk to him first, and I'm pretty sure she has. Just sit down and talk to him and have that, because at the end of the day, you need that closure at the end of the day. Because right now, it's to the point right now that it seems like there is no turning back. He's not willing to try to help the marriage right now. And if someone's not willing to try to do anything, they're not willing to put that effort in to change it, then there's no use for you to even try. Don't waste your energy on it. Now, yes, obviously you spent those 10 years, but why keep going and why keep on trying to change something that this man does not want to help change? Obviously, you're wasting a lot of your energy right now. And it's not worth your time at the moment. So it's time for you to move on. I would get that closure. I would have that sit down talk. I would express myself during that sit down talk though. I would let him know that, hey, this is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. You want to go to counseling. If he doesn't want to do any things that you want to do, it's just as simple as time to move on. Don't mess up your mental. Don't mess up your mental for someone that does not want to be around you anymore. Because at the end of the day, if they don't want to be around you, they don't want to spend time with you anymore, they don't want to be with you anymore, it's time for you to move on. Life is beautiful. Life is a joy. Go enjoy it to the fullest. I know you're pregnant. I know you have a kid with him. At the end of the day, you'll figure it out. You'll work it out as it goes. But don't waste your time on someone that doesn't want to be with you though.
you go.
All right, what you got? What you got going on, Chocolate Girl?
I'm heartbroken by hearing her story. Um, of course, we're not hearing how she's contributed to this breakdown, and because it takes two, right? So let me just throw that out there first. So I'm not gonna bash the man because we don't know his side of the story. That being said, what we do, based upon what we do know, I agree 100% with D. Wick here. You never have to beg, plead, convince, cajole, persuade, influence anyone, any of those words to love you. When you love yourself, that's where you are. That's it. That's the bottom line. If he no longer wants to be in the marriage, I would have that conversation, as Dewick said, one more time. And my bottom line question is, are you certain you do not want this marriage any longer? Or you certain, are you serious that you do not want to try? And I would get him to say yes or no one last time. And I would say, well, okay, it's been fun. Now it's going to hurt. I don't want to oversimplify this. But what I have learned in my life, you rather go through the hurt, the shock, the disappointment, even the depression of some sort of it now, so that you can get on the other side. Because children rather be from a broken home than living in one. And so that whole thing about staying together for the kids is a myth. That's one. Two, I also agree with D. Wick that God's gonna work it out. If you don't believe in God, fine. The universe will work it out for her. She's got a kid and she's pregnant with the other. If she takes the kids and leaves and she's a single mom, believe me, being a single mom has been over vilified in this world. It is not the worst, absolute worst thing in the world. No, what's worse is being married or in a relationship with a person who doesn't want to be there with you.
Yeah.
That's what's worse. I've seen it. It didn't happen to me, but I've seen it with other people. That's worse, you guys. If you've never experienced it, I'm telling you ahead of time, that is worse. So that's what I would say to this young lady. Hey, I know you're afraid. He's gonna work it out. Get you a circle if you don't have a circle. I always send people to the church. Go to a church, find you a safe church family. And people want to talk about church and all the negative trappings of churches. There are some good churches out there and good church folk, just like anything else. And yeah, find it. Ask God to lead you to it. He will lead you to it. A good one. And third, remember who you are and whose you are. That's it. Just remember who you are and whose you are. You don't have to beg anybody or plead. Love yourself, find your strength, go through the hurt and pain, get to the other side. That's how I feel about it. But one thing, don't become as bitter, and don't try, when you do leave him and go through a divorce, do not sabotage those children by talking bad about the ex, and don't try to keep those kids away from the father, and don't use them as a weapon.
Oh, preach. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, child. I'm sorry.
That is a subject for another show. I'm writing that down, Dennis. We got to talk about that.
Oh,
especially
man.
as a woman, and what I see and hear about, it makes me sick to the stomach what some of these folks are doing with these children. On a rare occasion, I do see fathers do it, but it's usually the mom I see.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this situation.
How I feel is, when she said she was going into a depression. You know, one of the things I thought about is you know, you need to get out of there. You got to get out of there because for your own sanity. Because you know, you'll end up killing yourself because you put so much into this man and he's not, you know, he's not what you want. He's not doing the things that you want to do. He's not willing to work out the problems that y'all have because he doesn't want to be with you anymore. He's moved on with other women. It's time for you to move on and move out of that marriage. That's what I see. And I know you're still trying to hold on because you're pregnant and, you know, you got the kids. Don't let that be the end all to be all. That you got the kids and you feel as though don't nobody want you, they don't love you. I know plenty of women out there with kids that don't have a problem getting married. And I ain't talking about no 1, 2 kids. I'm talking about 5 kids, 7 kids. You know, they got plenty of kids, but they don't have a problem getting married. And I ain't telling you to put yourself out there. What I'm telling you is to do, as we just said, first go love yourself, because this is going to be some of the hardest times you're going to go through in this divorce separation. So you need to love yourself. You need to get around some people who are uplifting and going to help you through this situation. Don't be sitting over in the dark. You know, that hopefully you don't go through that postpartum depression after you have the baby. You know, we just wishing you the best. We want nothing, you know, nothing but love and happiness for you. But you have to get out of that marriage so you can be a better person. You have to. There's nothing else I can say about that. And I think y'all might just be great co-parents. You really have to think about it. Y'all might just be great co-parents. You know, your ex-husband might end up being one of your best friends. I've seen that happen. I don't know how, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I have too.
They come back years later, they realize they made a mistake. You know, y'all end up being the best of friends. That's all I had to say on this.
There have been occasions where I've known people divorce, bitter divorces. And then after several years apart, all of a sudden they made a decision and they ended up being friendly until, you know, one of them passed. I've seen that happen. I mean, 2 people who I never thought would speak to each other again, let alone be friendly.
Right.
It can happen.
They be going on dates.
It can
be at
happen.
family events with their new girlfriend, and she got her new boyfriend, and they all, you know, they double date a lot. And I just be sitting there like, what is going on? Like that's how I used to, when I seen it, I used to sit there like, what is this going on? Like,
well, you know, Dennis, a lot of that depends on how you started. If you literally started out as friends before you got romantic, I can see that happening. Like with me, I started out as friends with everybody I ever dated, ever.
That's what's up.
Ever. I was friends first with them first. So after the breakup, after getting over the hurt and getting past that, we're cool. Friends with, I've told you, I don't know how, I've talked about this with you many times, how I'm friends with all my exes.
Yeah.
Literally. It's not, and it's no big deal. Now, granted, they all live out of state from me, that none of them live here, but still, if I was still living there and when I was still living there, it was the same way.
I don't have no ill will towards all my exes, but we are social media friends though. I can say that. We social media friends.
That's what I mean.
But we ain't calling each other to speak once a season or nothing like that. That's all I'm saying. We social media friends. Well, we may like each other posts here and there, but I'm just telling you the type of interactions we have. That's all I'm just saying. And we might like each other posts here and there. That's about it. Something good happened, you'll send a congratulations.
Right.
That's about it.
But you know how big that can be, especially if your relationship ended badly that is a huge deal, even to get to that
Yes.
point, especially depending upon how you end it. I mean, if man, I could tell you some stories, but I've had great loves in my life. Some ended okay and some did not. But to be able to get to a point where you can even become friends, accept a friend request from them. That's a big deal in this
It
age.
is.
Because like 20 years ago, there was no such thing as social media. So we weren't talking about it really.
Right.
Well, longer than 20. But so back then it was just a matter of, okay, if I were to see this person on the street, what would I do? That's always the question.
Right.
If I run into them somewhere, would I run away and hide because I don't want them to know I saw them? What would you do? I'm always the in your face type of person. That's
Mm-hmm.
One of my brothers, he used to, one of the things he told me, my brother T, he would be like, you can't let nobody take you out your circle. Nobody can take you out your circle, and then he was explaining it to me like, can't nobody, get you too mad, or when you see them, you in a rage or something like that. That can't happen. They can't have that power over you.
Yeah.
Take you out of yourself and being who you are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's giving people power.
That's right.
And that's what he was explaining.
That a lot. Yeah.
This is before Tyler Perry explained it, but he was telling me this before then. And then Tyler Perry, did his thing explaining. I was like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't know so many people actually go out of character when they see somebody else just to be in their presence. Like you'll see them just open the door and see the cousin that they ain't like them, they had a problem with on a Spades game 20 years ago, and then their whole mood changed. You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And those are the things Shout out to T for that, for explaining that to me. Shout out to him for that. Yeah, but with that being said, I did name the show today "The Power of Pennsylvania," right? Because we have the NFL playoffs start today, and as Sharon said, nobody expected the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers to be in the playoffs.
Bring the towel out, y'all. Gotta bring the towel.
But we're here.
Respect the towel.
But I want to talk about all these playoff games, and since D Wick is in the building, we're gonna analyze all 6 of these games. We're gonna start off with the first game of today. That starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That is the Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals. Since y'all are both Ohio natives, I want to know what y'all think about this game. That's in Ohio.
Absolutely. You want me to go first, Sharon?
I certainly do.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys both know, I'm a Broncos fan, but I still have my love for my Bengals. It's my hometown team. I'm from Cincinnati. I still have my love for my Bengals. I want to first start off by saying congrats to the Bengals, just in general, for making the playoffs. Once again, AFC North was a tough division this year. At the end of the day, it was a tough division, even with a down year from Big Ben, even with a down year from Lamar with him being injured, with the down year from the Browns, regardless of the case may be. Still was a tough division. AFC North is always and has been the most consistent division and always has been the toughest. The Bengals, like I said, they like a good team this year. I'd say they look like a real good team this year, though. The Bengals look like a really good team this year. I like Joe Burrow. I've told you that before, Dennis. I was real high on him coming out of college. I was not of Jamar Chase, but once again, though, I became a believer of Jamar Chase. The thing that sticks out the most to me about the Bengals team, though, is Joe Mixon, and then also a very young defense, though. They have a very, very young defense, which I expect to give, especially that pass rush with Trey Henderson and Sam Hubbard. I expect that pass rush to get to Derek Carr today. Now, once again, shout out to my guy Donovan. The Raiders aren't no slouches. They're not no slouches. Derek Carr has not got the respect he has got. He should have been getting for the longest now. And Derek Carr looks good this year. I don't care what anyone says. He has looked good this year, especially with all the adversity that team has went through. They've gone through probably the most adversity of this season. They had a player go to jail this year. They had John Gruden get ousted as a coach for obvious reasons. And they still, I say, yeah,
Went to jail.
two. Oh, two.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
there's the assault one, and then there was the car thing. Yeah.
You're
Oh,
right.
so
I forgot about
Arnett with the jail?
Arnett. I would say my Buckeye
He
guy.
got
I forgot.
arrested.
He got
He
arrested.
posted bail, but he did get arrested.
He get arrested. He did. I forgot about that. Yes. So they had two. So this team has been going through adversity this whole season. So this team is not going to sit down. They're not going to lay down and quit. Now the Bengals have a chance to win their first playoff game in 12, well, longer than that. They have not won a playoff game in 20 years, I think it is. It's been a while.
Since
91.
91.
Since 91. They have not touched, they have not won the playoffs. They've gotten to the first round. I've seeded myself. I've been to 5 Bengals playoff games, and they'll get ousted immediately. Once again, I think this is the year that they win their game. I think this is the year that Joe Burrow gets them to that next level, man. Cool Joe is just, he's something else, man. I got to give it to him. Like I said, I was high on him. Just didn't think he was going to be this cool. When I say cool, I mean he's just the most calm, cool, and collected young guy I've seen in the league at the moment. He has no worries. Even when he looks like he has his back is against the wall, he might throw 2 pick sixes in a row. I've seen it before. And he goes back out and he drives down the field. But once again, this is going to be a dogfight. I respect the Raiders. I respect that team. The Raiders are going to have to get Josh Jacobs going. They need that run game going because honestly, the Bengals have a more high-powered offense than them. If they can control the ball and play a little bit of defense, because Max Crosby is going to get to the quarterback no matter what. He's going to get to the quarterback no matter what. That D line is going to get there. And it's the same way with the Bengals as well. You got to be able to run the ball, though, for both of these teams. I think the Bengals are going to put that focus on running the ball. I need the Raiders to put that focus on running the ball, though, if they want to win this game. They got to control the clock because the Bengals have that high-power offense, and they're going to keep scoring. And not saying the Raiders don't, but it's not as high as the Bengals. So if the Raiders want to win, got to run the ball, and they got to get some stops. But I do have the Bengals winning, though, and a score of 28-21. It's not going to be high scoring for me.
Oh. Okay, what you got the Chopper girl?
Well, see, this is what I miss about D-Wick. This is what I miss. I miss this about you, man. When you do the rundowns and stuff on both teams, and then you come out the box with your decision. I love it. But
thank you. I missed it.
Yeah, we missed you. So you said a lot of the things that I had written down here to say as well. Great matchup. The Raiders have been performing well. Yes, they lost some games that they shouldn't have, but they also won some that was unexpected. And I also agree that Derek Carr has looked better this season than he has other seasons, except for that one season where he got injured and he was in the running for MVP. It's comparable to that year. The rest of the year is not so much, but I don't know. It's like a growth and maturity that I see in him this season. And he's played he had a really good season. As far as the playoffs is concerned, I know it's another story when it gets to the playoffs. We all know that about the bright lights and all of that. They're playing against Cincinnati, which is one of the most balanced teams in the NFL right now. Because as D-Wick was saying, not only can they get you in the air, they can get you on the ground. And also their defense is not bad. The downfall of the Bengals is their O-line. And if that O-line does not allow Mixon to get going, that's the issue. But they've done pretty well as of late with that. In the middle of the season, it's like they were trying to still figure things out. And I believe a couple of them on that O-line of the Bengals was still hurt and not 100%. And I think as the season went on that they improved and they got better, they got healthier, and they're clicking on most of their cylinders. That's how they beat the Ravens. When they beat the Ravens, shocked the world and beat the Ravens. Well, that's what they did. They threw it through the air. They beat them in the air. They beat them in the ground. They did everything right. Baltimore had no answer. So I think that's possible for the Bengals in this playoff game. And Vegas, you're right. They're not very good with the run. They have to get the run going. The problem is I don't believe that they're going to be able to. And I don't believe that Waller's going to be able to do enough through the air, catching passes to overcome what the Bengals are going to put down. So I also have the Bengals winning this. And as a Steelers fan, y'all, this is hard for me to say because, Chad grew up in Cincinnati. I grew up 35 minutes away in Dayton, Ohio. Hey, we hate Cincinnati. We hate them. We just do. You're just born and raised that way. And I just cannot stand the Bengals. But I have to be fair with this. I believe in this matchup that they're going to win, and I have a score of 30-27. It's going to be close. That's how I have it.
Wow. Okay.
Shout out to Blaze. I know he was in the comments. Big
Yeah,
Bengals.
Blaze was here. Blaze was definitely there. What was I going to say that y'all didn't? Oh, my matchup nightmare. To be honest with you, my matchup nightmare is I want to know who's guarding T. Higgins. That's actually my matchup nightmare. Yeah, I just want to know who's guarding T. Higgins because
I don't think they're going to have anybody to do it.
They don't have anybody to guard T.
I don't
Higgins.
think they got too many people in the league that can do it, to be honest with you.
They don't have anybody to guard T. Higgins, but they also don't have anybody to guard slot Tyler Boyd either. I mean, it's they have 3 wide receivers that can get loose, and that's the beautiful thing about. And like I said, me being oblivious at the beginning of the season, I had a lot of Bengals fans, and this is me thinking that they're just homers, saying that they're going to have one of the best wide receiving cores. Some see the best, and I'm like, no, that's not the case. And this is because I just don't like giving Bengals fans any credit or anything because living in Cincinnati, they do get annoying, but they do. They do have one of the best wide receiving cores right now. They literally have 2 over 1,000 right now. And then Tyler Boyd was close. I think it was at 900. They have a great receiving core. Not too many people can guard all 3 of them even.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. And plus, for some reason, everything the Raiders been through, I still got the Raiders winning. I got the Raiders winning this game. Like I said, I forgot what score I had because I said on the Buck Flair show, but I got too drunk, so forgot exactly what score I had. Only remember one score from that show. So I got the Raiders winning this game.
I didn't write your score down. I did read that you wrote down that you picked them though. Yeah.
The Raiders. That's tough.
I'm taking the Raiders as Chris Pepper was saying. The Raiders.
That's a bold choice. So we got 2 Bengals and the Raiders. All right.
Man. So let's get into game number 2, which starts at 8. I think it's 8:30 tonight. Or it's 8 o'clock. That game would be
No. Oh, you talking about Buffalo, New England?
But no, I'm sorry, it's 8:15. 8:15.
8:15.
8:15 Eastern Standard Time. We have Buffalo.
CBS,
I don't never know what channel it's on. We have Buffalo playing the New England Patriots, and they're in Buffalo. Weather may be a factor. I want to know who you taking on this one, Chad.
This one I struggle with going back and forth for one. Mac Jones' first playoff game. He's been pretty good this year. I've been more impressed, though, with Damian Harris, though. He is the focal point of that team. No matter what anyone says, that team does not go unless he goes. That run game has to be going for them to win any game, to be quite honest with you. The reason why I struggle with this game, though, is because, yes, the first game, as you guys saw when they played, they ran the ball literally like 40 times and only passed it 5 times, I think it was. And they ended up blowing them out that game. And the defense was hitting on all cylinders. But the most recent game, Buffalo got the better of it in every single aspect. It wasn't just passing. Like, they made Mac Jones look like a rookie that game. He looked like a true rookie, which you haven't really seen that much this season. Just from the aspect of this game going in, with it being in Buffalo, it's going to be snowy. It's going to be snowy probably. It's going to be high winds. I don't foresee Bill letting Mac Jones throw the ball that much again, unless they have to. So what's going to end up probably having to happen is that offensive line for the Patriots, they got to strap up like they did that first game. I know they were tired. Me playing offensive line, you never want to run block the whole entire game. You never want to run block the whole entire game. No, not the whole entire game. They literally, Dennis, the whole entire game from start to finish, that's too much.
That was my high school football years. Totally different football.
See me personally, I need that break because pass blocking all the time. Pass blocking is fun to me. Run blocking is fun, don't get me wrong, but you need that break every once in a while where you can, all right, that pass rush ain't gonna rush that hard. Now I can break down a little bit. Run blocking, you have to, because if you don't get that push, that running back ain't going. They're gonna have to buckle down and see that, hey, it's one of those type games, which I think they will. That defense from Buffalo, they're gonna have to step up. That front seven is gonna have to step up. Now, I don't think they will. I think it's gonna be like the first game. I think Josh Allen's they're gonna try to throw the ball so much with Josh Allen. Now, the biggest difference which you've seen these last 3 weeks, though, from week 14 to like week 18, Devin Singletary has been getting the ball a lot more. I think he's been putting about 95 yards per game. There's not just Josh Allen running the ball no more. It's Devin Singletary as well. So if they can kind of control the clock mixed with Josh Allen's arm, I can see them winning as well. I can see them actually putting up a lot of points. You got to be able to have a run game against the Patriots, though, because if not, the pass game is not going to work. They still got J.C. Jackson back there, who has been phenomenal. He is phenomenal. He's going to lock down Stephon Diggs, too. Stephon Diggs is not going to have a big game. I say, yeah, Stephon Diggs is not going to have a good game. I'm letting you know that right now. It's going to be J.C. Jackson all over him. But for my final score, this is tough because I don't like going with the Patriots at all. But I am going to go with the Pats. I got the Pats winning 30-28.
Shout out to girl.
This is something, boy. This is really, really something. First day back, and Chad and I are like in sync. This is just wild. This is wild to me. I love it. Well, I don't have a whole lot more to add. I ditto what you said again. And I really do, people know I'm not just saying this because I'm a chick that don't know football and I don't have a tape. I literally have the same points that you said. And my whole concern about the Bills this whole season has been two things. They don't have much of a run game and they're terrible against the run. Yep. And if you have both, you can win. You can win games that way, but you can only win against certain teams. Now, do I feel like they can beat the Patriots? Sure. Anytime you got a rookie quarterback in his first playoff game, that automatically gives them a disadvantage. So the other team would have the advantage just because of that. As far as the weather being a factor, the weather would not be a factor. If they were playing the San Francisco 49ers or somebody like that, well, that's, the NFC team, but still, if they were playing somebody from California, I could say that. You talking about New England. It's cold and snowy there too.
Yeah.
But you got an Alabama quarterback that's not used to cold, they say. So what did Bill Belichick, what did he do last time? He only had him pass the ball, twice? I think it was twice the whole game. They still won. Just manage it. You manage it, I'll take care of the rest. That's what he told Mac Jones. Just manage it. Don't turn the ball over. Manage the game, and we'll win. I got you. And they won. This is the playoffs. It's a different story, right? Punk step up to get beat down, and then big-time players make big-time plays. And this is what I'm going to say about Mac Jones. I was not a Mac Jones believer. I was angry when they got rid of Cam. And I said, okay, well, I said that New England would win the division. I changed my mind once they got rid of Cam. They started out 1-2, I think. And then went on this run of amazing wins. Mm-hmm. And they lost like 3 or 4 at the end of the season. So what ended up happening is the experts lost faith in the Patriots. Well, I didn't. I haven't lost faith in the Patriots. I think that's just a learning curve for Mac. But I think he's learning, and he learned the right lessons from the right teacher. And preparation is key in the playoffs, more so than in the regular season. And no one prepares their players better than Bill Belichick.
Very true.
I cannot stand that man. Can't stand him. I believe his character is not the best, but the man knows X's and O's. He runs his team like he runs his team. And I believe that New England is going to pull the upset. It's going to be one of the upsets of the day, because I guess it depends on who you ask. I did see a couple of sites who picked New England to beat Buffalo, but I believe Vegas has Buffalo winning. And we all know about Vegas. But I have the score being New England 27, Buffalo 21.
Okay. This is the first time. This is the first time, and this was done on the Buck Flair show, that I actually did not know who was going to win this game. It was too close of a game, division game, third time they playing each other. So I had Buck Flair flip a coin, and he flipped the coin, and I think I had heads, Buffalo, and tails, New England, and landed tails. So I took New England, and the score I took was 25-19. That was the score I had, 25-19. New England beating Buffalo in Buffalo. And it's kind of crazy because Buffalo won the division. But if you lose this game, does winning the division even matter? Those are the type of questions I'll be sitting there thinking about. Does it really
answer to that? You want to answer real quick? Yes or no?
You can answer.
I say yes, it does still matter. Winning your division does matter still, even if you don't get anywhere. That's what I say. But go ahead.
Okay. I
think it matters in certain contexts, I'll say. For this instance, so let's go to the AFC North in the aspect. Let's say the Bengals won in the division this year, as they did. But your Steelers are in the playoffs as well.
Right.
And the Bengals lose in the first round, and then the Steelers make it to the second round. I don't think it would matter in that aspect, because now you just kind of wasted. And let me not say wasted. You got the bragging rights, but the true bragging rights is that Steelers made it to the second round of the playoffs now, and now they're sitting at home. So that's just the way I'll see it. Now, obviously, if they won the division, there's no one else in the playoffs from that division, then that's a whole different story. But if in the aspect of like the AFC North, the NFC West, those teams that got multiple teams in the playoffs, I would say, and then they didn't get in, the person that won the division didn't get to the next second round, and I see that as different in that aspect.
Right, and go ahead, Sharon.
If that were to happen, if your scenario would happen and the Bengals get knocked out and the Steelers move on, they would come up with all kind of excuses as to why. Because remember, we're trash this year. We're trash. So there will be excuses. They'll blame it on the refs, or they'll say something. Something will happen in the game, and all the people who, love to hate on the Steelers anyway, will blame it on something. It won't be because we were that good. It won't be that. Because again, we're trash. Just remember that, okay? We are trash, right? Okay, I just want to get that point out.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I said that.
Yeah, it does matter. I'm sorry, it does matter. The regular season always matters. What I don't think is fair is when people say, or fans or sports fanatics say, all that matters is championships. No, that's not all that matters. And players that never won a chip that are great in any sport teaches us that. It's not always all about the championship. Yes, that's your objective. Whose objective is it not? But it doesn't mean that that's all that matters. And I believe division, regular season division championships, and then the playoff division championships and conference championships, I think that all matters. Where you finish. It's not where you start, it's how you finish.
I can see that as well. I mean, look at Allen Iverson, they never won a championship.
I always think of that. Mm-hmm.
All right,
I always think he's one of the greatest to ever do it and never got a ring.
Let me just say, let me get the reason why I say that to me, on those aspects of you winning the division and being proud of it, don't really matter if you end up losing. You end up losing, and the team that was in your division that was like second, they end up advancing ahead of you is more so because of what the Buccaneers did last year. The Buccaneers You know, they couldn't beat the Saints. The Saints ended up winning the division. They get to the playoffs. They beat the Saints and advance the NFC Championship game. And, you know, next year the Saints had a whole a division winners schedule. So they had to play most of the teams that won their division. They had a harder schedule than what the Buccaneers had, and they won the Super Bowl. That's how I look at things on that aspect.
But speaking of that, but you have players that go in and out during the season, though, like players that are hurt, then they come back by the playoffs. You might get in the playoffs and have your full first string when you didn't have them through the season. So that affects your season. So you might finish second in the division, and then you struggle and you get into the playoffs, but now everybody's healthy. That's what's happening with the Steelers right now. Everybody, even Juju might come back. I mean, everybody's getting healthy at the right time. And we've seen that before. We did it in 2005. We were 7th seed. We won a doggone Super Bowl. We were the first team to ever, as a 7th seed, win a Super Bowl. Okay, let's say it was 6. We were the first to do it. Ever.
Man. But speaking of the Buccaneers, the next game we have at 1:00 Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go ahead, Chad. You go ahead and talk on that.
Philly versus Tampa. I will say that I was very. Let me not say I told you before the season. I actually liked your coach. I like Nick. I like Nick Sirianni. So I actually liked your head coach. I like the way his swag is and everything. Because I know a lot of you Eagles fans. That's why I asked the question in the group chat. You guys like Nick now? Because a lot of Eagles fans didn't like the way he dressed. A lot of people didn't like the way he was using his analogies. And I'm like, man, the guy can't even win. I mean, in the preseason, you guys were ready to get his head. This talking Eagles fan, not you in general. I actually like Nick. And like I said, I'm not big on Jalen Hurts, but he has made me like him a little bit. I did like him in college. Just didn't know how he was going to be. How he was be good in the NFL, and he's been decent this year. I think the biggest thing that I've been surprised with you guys is that run game, though. You've been able to work with the run game. The defense has been pretty good as well. Big play Slay is big play again. This is not Darius Slay from a couple years ago. This is Darius Slay that was a lockdown corner for about a good 4 years. So you guys have all the tools right now. And you're playing against an injured Buccaneers team to an extent. And that's where the positive comes in for you guys. They don't have a running game right now because they're missing Leonard Fournette. Playoff Lenny's not there. They're missing Ronald Jones now, which he wasn't that good either this year. But, I mean, hey, it's still a run game. So now they're working with Chris Vaughn right now, Le'Veon Bell. You're not going to get Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers. You're going to get Le'Veon Bell from as of old, basically, which is right now. You're not going to get the Le'Veon Bell that's going to be like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to get Le'Veon Bell right now. They lost Antonio Brown, obviously. We all know what happened with that. Chris Godwin's not playing. They literally just have Mike Evans and Gronkowski. Now, Gronk can take over a game, but this ain't the Gronk that we know from the Patriots. But still, with that being said, they're also going to be missing some defensive players as well, and their DBs have been kind of weak this year. So it just goes into the fact the key to victory for the Eagles is going to be running the ball. It's going to be time management. Once again, now I've been saying this a lot, but it is going to be time management. You still are playing against the GOAT Tom Brady, my GOAT at least. Like I said, let me make sure I say my GOAT. I know a lot of people say other people. They're playing against my GOAT Tom Brady at the moment. So you got to have time management. Jalen Hurts has to cut down on his turnovers as well. I know the past couple of games he's had 1 to 2 picks. Can't be throwing picks against Tom Brady because he is going to capitalize off that. Can't be throwing picks, so he has to take care of the ball, get the run game going. The defense is going to play as good as they can. It's not the greatest defense, but it's good enough. I think Darius Slay is going to contain Mike Evans, so I wouldn't even be worried about that. From the Buccaneers side, Chris Vaughn and Le'Veon Bell got to step up because Tom Brady, I mean, he can throw the ball 40 times a game. We've seen it this season, which is remarkable, but he can't do it against this team, though. I just, with them not having the wide receivers, it's just Rob Gronkowski and Mike Evans. You got to get the run game going. You can't get one-dimensional. The defense, JPP and Shaq Barrett might be out if they're playing, though. They got to get a pass rush. Both of them have been very quiet this year. they're not getting that pass rush going either. That's going to hurt them as well. Ndamukong Suh, he played amazing in the playoffs last year. He's got to step up. Vita Vea's got to step up. That defense has been really lackluster this year, though. I've been kind of disappointed in the year. But once again, this is Tom Brady we're talking about, so we'll see what they end up doing. I actually do have the Buccaneers winning. I got the Buccaneers winning. I'm not going to put a score on this one, but I do have the Buccaneers winning in a close score. Once again, it's been a remarkable season for the Eagles, and I do think they're just going to build on this and they're going to keep building. At the end of the day, I like Nick. I'm going to take the experience of Tom Brady, and I do think playoff teams, they have a way of getting ready when it comes to the playoffs. I don't think BA is going to have them in any doubt right now. And plus this is Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. They're trying to get their jobs, so they got to show out a little bit too. They're trying to get their head coaching jobs too as well. They can't go out on the first round exit.
Okay, Chocolate.
What's the score?
If I was gonna put a score, I guess I'll go 35-21. I got them winning by 2 scores.
All right. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has been allowing 17.7 points a game since week 8, which is not a whole lot. I think they were ranked 9th. I think that's where they finished for the season, 9th in defense. And when you have comparable teams, the team with a better defense tends to edge out the other. So then you have to ask yourself, are these two teams comparable? And in many ways they are not, but in some ways they are. The good part is the Eagles are getting healthy. Their key players are getting healthy towards the end of the season, while Tampa Bay has some key players that did not get healthy in time. And it's going to affect that run game. So Tom is going to have to be Tom and throw a lot of passes to win the Super Bowl against this defense. Eagles secondary, they're okay. They're not the best, but they're not trash as well. Look at that. And all the things that you mentioned before, that's been obvious, and we all know about, that's happened. And you're right, you're not going to get Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers or the Spartans. Yes, I had to go all the way back with my college reference. That's my school. And you're not going to get that Le'Veon Bell, no matter how much I would love to see it, because I really miss him as a runner. He was just a beautiful thing to watch.
He was.
When he was in his prime there, when he was really rolling with the Steelers. I wish he would go back. Even now, we could use him and Najee. Could you imagine them together, 1-2? My gosh. Yeah. But anyhow, in this particular game, I'm not going to spend a lot more time with it. The way you beat Tom Brady, I don't care what team he's playing for, is you smack his ass and put him on the ground. He does not like to be touched. I feel like a broken record. I say this on every show, every time I talk about this man. If you blitz him and make him pass more quickly than he does, because he doesn't need a whole lot of time to throw most of the time, but he's given a lot of time to throw when he was with the Patriots, because that O-line really had him. And they didn't let him get sacked very much, if you notice. That's how they were able to win so much. It wasn't that he was just such a great quarterback. That O-line allowed him time more than any others. If you blitz and you get to this man and throw his ass on the ground several times hard in a row, he's not going to win. It throws him off his rhythm. He gets an attitude. You get in his head, and he won't win eventually. Ask the Giants. They'll tell you, because that's what they did. And I believe that to be the case, even though he's now with another team. They have their deficiencies. And I believe that Philadelphia is strong enough to overcome them. Philadelphia has pissed me off this season because there were times that I picked them and they did not deliver. But some of those times I probably didn't do thorough enough of an investigation before I made my pick. and did not realize certain key players may not have been in the game or whatever. But I believe confidently that they are ready for this revenge game that Dennis keeps talking about, and that they really are going to use that to their advantage. I like the play calling of the coach. What is his name? What's his last name? I forgot.
Sirianni.
Sirianni, yeah, Nick Sirianni.
And yeah, and I'm just like you. I didn't like him in that first interview, and he didn't have a suit on and all that. I bashed him and his crazy faces and the things he was saying. But as the season went on and I was watching, I liked the play calling. He's done some really good. I mean, he's made a couple of blunders, but I mean, who doesn't? It's first time head coach. And I love Jalen Hurts. I love the growth I've seen in him. I believe he has the calmness to carry this team and actually upset them. I don't believe he'll get nervous playing against Tom Brady and be all spooked out and all that. Nope. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to upset. And the score is 27-24. Another close game, 3 points. I believe that. I believe that's going to happen today. Let's go, Eagles. Y'all better fly, damn it. Y'all better win. I'm picking.
Okay. All right. I like it. Let me tell you why this was such a revenge game for a guy like me. All right. The last game of Veterans Stadium in 2002 was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we kind of owned the Bucs during the playoffs. Like, they couldn't beat us. We owned them. They can't play in the cold. They couldn't get the offense going. Like, we really owned the Bucs during the playoffs. So to have a home playoff game, which was the last game in Veterans Stadium, and in 2002, you know, we just knew we was going to win. You know, it was guaranteed win. You know, the game started off. Brian Mitchell ran it all the way back to the 25-yard line. Deuce Staley runs in the touchdown. We up 7-0. And me being in high school as a kid, I'm like, we going to the Super Bowl. Mind you, it's only the first quarter. It's only been 2 minutes off the clock in the first quarter. I'm like, we going to the Super Bowl. And that was the last touchdown we scored. Let's just get that out the way, all right? That was the last touchdown we scored. Joe Jurevicius had just had a child the day before, came in the game, trips right on third down. I think it was like 3rd and 4. It was a trips right. He takes it almost 60 yards to about like the 9-yard line. That was the day I got mad at Blaine Bishop. And I didn't like Blaine Bishop ever since, because he let Joe Jurevicius just get wide open and go all the way down the sideline. And Tampa Bay defense, that Tampa 2 defense, I got to give them all the credit in the world. That was Rondé Barber's game. Not just the interception that he got at the end, but the way that he played that game and how he knew everywhere McNabb was going. Like, you go back and you watch the game, you'll see Rondé Barber's all over the field. He got a strip sack. He had like 3 or 4 pass deflections, interception for a touchdown. Like, this was his game. I can't say nothing about it. And Simeon Rice was another one. He was another guy that came to play.
Yep.
And this was McNabb coming off the ankle injury, but they were saying he was healthy enough to play. We was very excited, but they end up beating us that game 27-10. Mind you, like I said, we was up 7-0. All we scored was 3 points after that. That's to let you know how deadly that Tampa 2 defense is. Now, a lot of people always say, who's the best defense? In my eyes, it's that Tampa 2 defense. They got 3 Hall of Famers on that defense, about to be 4. So,
what's your 4? You thought Rondé?
Rondé's going to be the 4th one. He getting that.
Yeah.
Should be 5. It should be Simeon Rice too, but
I would put Simeon Rice there before I put Rondé. I wouldn't put Rondé.
Rondé getting it. Rondé got 20 sacks. We got 20 sacks, 20 interceptions. So
would you put Aqib Talib in? Because Aqib Talib stats are better, and he was a better corner than me. I mean, he had a better problem than me. So
they're not gonna put him in because of his antics.
Answer no.
Not because of he's a bad player, but his antics is why he won't get in.
No.
And he used to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Let's get that out the way.
I'll go run streaking through Canton if they put his ass in the hall. I ain't lying.
Even though he is an announcer now. Let me get that out the way.
And he sucks at that too.
I like him as an announcer.
I don't want to hear.
He's funny as an announcer. I like him.
I like him as an announcer. But anyway, this is 2002. That's how the vet ended. And all our stadiums all in the same spot. So the vet is now just a parking lot, which is next to Citizens Bank Park, which is where the Phillies play at. Across the street from where the Sixers play at, and also across the street from where the Eagles play at. So every time I ride by that parking lot, that's the only thing I think about. Is them damn 2002 Buccaneers beating us in our house, then going to go play the Raiders and win the Super Bowl. That's all I think about. And I don't know about any other Eagle fans out here, but it's time for us to get our revenge and spoil their dreams. So what I always said was, Antonio Brown, aka B, stabbed him in the back a couple weeks ago. Now we coming to cut their heads off. We're going to Tampa. We're going to win the game 35-31. It's going to be the final score. We're going to Tampa to win it. The 7th seed is going to be the 2 seed.
I don't got y'all scoring that many points, man. I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts can make some ball.
The only way, I'm going to be honest with you, the way we win this game, I know we're going to get 1 turnover, but we need 2 turnovers to win the game.
You think y'all going to get 1 turnover?
I know we're going to get 1.
You think?
Yeah, I know we're going to get 1.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah, and when they get it, he's gonna be so mad. Man, y'all, I'm telling y'all, if the defense does what it's supposed to do, Tampa Bay will not win this game.
I don't think there's only 2 defenses that's playing this year in the NFC that will make him mad. It's not the Rams, it's San Francisco and Dallas. Those are the only 2 teams that I actually think have a defense to actually in the NFC to have him struggle with. But we'll see. We shall see.
If they watch that new with some people, if they watch the New Orleans Saints games with him and take a lesson from them, they could beat them. Everybody know the Saints was not a better team.
Didn't even have a quarterback.
No. Come on now. Watch the film. It's like, did you see what I saw?
Right. They beat them 9-0.
I knew they were going to win. I put it down on paper that they were going to beat them without a quarterback. Yeah.
But it's playoff time.
I know it. And now you got to get
every
crafty
possession.
with it.
Now every possession counts. Coaching comes in effect. Things are going to be a little bit different. And
brighter lights.
Speaking of coaching coming into effect, my next game is the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. They play at 4:30 on Sunday. 4:30 Eastern time. Make sure I say that to all my listeners out there. Who you got in this one, Chad?
This is my favorite game right here, actually.
That's what I see.
Obviously, this is my favorite game right here.
Steelers.
Like I said, I am a big fan of the Cowboys team, other than Travion Diggs. But I do like the Cowboys team though, a lot. But that Niners defense, though, I always will love at the end of the day. I've had a love for that Niners defense for the longest now. You know I love a great pass rush. And boy, oh boy, they get to the quarterback no matter what. And they got the best offensive lineman on their team as well, the Niners do. Second best offensive lineman. Best tackle, though, for sure, with Trent Williams. This game's going to come down, though, to the end of it because Dak is definitely a better quarterback than Jimmy G. We both know that. We all know that. All 3 of us. We know Dak is a better quarterback than Jimmy G. The thing is, though, is that recently you've been seeing the Cowboys more rely on their defense getting stops than Dak actually throwing the ball. And as we know that Zeke and Pollard, they both share carries, but neither one of them have stuck in out this year to where it's like, I have to worry about the run game. I need Dak. He's going to have to take control of this game because you're going to have to put up points against the Niners. At least, because that defense is not going to just roll over and die. They're not just going to roll over and sit there at the end of the day. We know that Niners defense is good in every single aspect, even with their cornerbacks. Most people don't know who their cornerbacks are. But guess what? Their cornerbacks don't give up that much. That's their weakest point on the defense, but they don't give up that much. They're back there. They're ready to play. I have the Niners winning this game. I think this is my only upset, too, as well, for the week. Have the Niners winning this game. I think Jimmy G is going to go out there and just hand him the ball. I think he's a game manager. Dennis, I don't know if you remember from a while ago when they were in the Super Bowl. I told you he's a glorified game manager. When everybody was so high on Jimmy G saying he's this and that, no, he's a glorified game manager, and that's what he's going to do this time too. He's going to game manage. They're going to have Elijah Mitchell. He's going to be running. He's going to be toting that rock, and I think that's where they're going to win the game is running the ball. I don't think they're going to give him a chance to really even pass rush that much. Debo Samuel as well. He's a gadget guy, but he's also really good though, at every single position. He's going to be in there too as well. They're going to make sure they utilize their best players. The Niners have a way, and let me say not the Niners, Cal Shanahan, I will say, has a way of using his best players when he needs to. And he's going to use his best players on this one. So I definitely 100% have the Niners winning this game. That is my upset of the week. You're going to see Dak flop out of the first round this year in the Cowboys. I think Nick Bosa is going to have 2 sacks as well, too. I'm just going to make that prediction as well, too. That's just me being a homer of Ohio State, though. But I do think he's going to get in the backfield, though. There has not been a time where he's gotten stopped this year. So final score for this was 28-24 Niners.
Okay, what you got, Chocolate?
What was the score again for you?
28-29.
24.
Oh,
24.
Okay. Everyone knows I'm a Steelers fan, number 1. My number 2 and 3 teams. I flip-flop back and forth between the Niners and the Cowboys as my number 2 and 3 teams that I love, right? Everyone knows I am a Joe Montana fan. To me, he is the GOAT. I really don't care what anybody says about Tom Brady and all that and the number of championships and all that foolishness. In the length of time that it took him to win all of those, nobody considers that. I feel like Joe Montana is the GOAT. That's when I fell in love with San Francisco when he was playing. So I love the Niners. I love the Cowboys, not as much as my Steelers, but I love them. That being said, this was the hardest game for me to select. I know you were saying that another game was for you, Chad, but this is the one that was hard for me. I had to take time with this one. I had to put aside my total disdain for Nick Bosa and just look at his performance because I can't stand him. I love Ohio State. Don't get me wrong.
I can't stand him. I'm there with you.
I love Ohio State. I love his brother, but him, can't
I love
stand
Nick
him.
Bosa. I mean, I love Joey Bosa, but him, I can't
Love
stand
Joey.
him. I'm there with
Right. Can't stand Nick. After he retires, don't ever want to see him in anything ever again. But the boy can play. The boy can play. D lineman, oh my God, he's awesome, right? And then I have to look at the Cowboys and what they've done of late. It's like, what you doing? They've lost some games that were very questionable. That had me really scratching my head, like what the hell happened? A couple I didn't watch, and I ended up asking Dennis and them, can y'all tell me what happened before I watch this footage? Because I don't understand what's going on. None of that matters now because it's the postseason. And I don't even know when's the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game. I just, the 90s? I don't remember.
No, it was a couple years ago.
Was it a couple of years ago? They won one though, right? When it won,
They won one. It was when Zeke
they
and
got
Dak
bounced
were
in the
rookies.
second round. Yeah,
it was when Zeke and Dak were both rookies, and they got bounced by the Packers after that. The next round.
Right. Yeah, we remember that game.
No, they lost to the LA Rams.
Yeah, I remember that. But
okay. It was okay.
I remember them getting bounced. I didn't know who the opponent was. I can't remember that, but I remember them getting bounced. But I'm saying all this to say, this is the reason why this was hard for me, because I didn't like the way that the Cowboys were looking recently, but then I didn't like the way the 49ers were looking up until like week 16, 15 or 16. That's when they started looking better to me. So they're both trying to get in here and improve something. They both have chips on their shoulders and all of that. They have pedigree. The coaching, though, is an issue with me with the Cowboys because I don't believe in McCarthy at all. I just never have. I believe that the wins that they garnered this season was not due to him. It was due to his coordinators, not him. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. Dak, I believe, is not 100%, that injury. I don't believe he's healed 100% from whatever that injury was, some leg injury. And I believe it's affecting his play. I'm not sure what's going on with their run game. Because if you look at Ezekiel Elliott as a player, he should be top 3. I don't know if he is he? I don't know. I didn't check the stats. But he should be top 3 running back in this game right now, just running over people if you go by his skill. Yet I'm not hearing of him, doing it. I don't ever see him featured on Tuesdays talking about these games from the weekend, or Monday or Tuesday talking about, and Ezekiel Elliott ran for XYZ and I had all these touchdowns. I haven't seen it this season, and I'm baffled by it. Is it him? Is it the O-line? What is it? So I'm looking at all this, reading, getting opinions, talking to people. I don't know. As of Wednesday, I still didn't know who's going to win the game. So I just kind of just took a guess, and I'm rolling with the one that I want to win, I guess. I want it so badly for Dak. So you've got the coach of the Cowboys versus the coach of the 49ers. 49ers win. You got the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, quarterback of the Niners, Cowboys win. You see what I'm dealing with? That's what I'm saying. And I'm just like, I'm going to go with the one that I really want to win, and that's Dak. So I'm going to say 30-27 Cowboys. I don't know why I got all these 3-point games, but I feel like that's what it's going to come down to. It's the playoffs. And you got some tough teams in this wild card that ain't having it. And I mean, they're going to leave it all on the field. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I agree with that. This is going to be a tough game right here. Coaching is going to be a factor. And that's the reason why I got the Cowboys losing, because of the coaching. The way that I said San Fran wins this game, they got to take Micah Parsons out the game. Once you take Micah Parsons out the game, the Cowboys are the same old Cowboys. But if you let him make plays, he will single-handedly beat you in this game. Some reason, when he makes plays, the morale of the team changes immediately.
Who did you say?
Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
When he makes plays, morale of the team changes immediately. Like, they'll look like they did and tired, like you got them. If he starts to make plays, they all change. They all make plays. So
with TJ Watt,
I definitely have to say, I got the 49ers winning this game. They'll run the ball heavy. I think I had the score was 27-24. Not sure, but I know I had a close game.
With Micah Parsons coming off of COVID, and he's probably going to be, they better not put him against Trent Williams. I'll put it like that. They put him against Trent Williams, the man's going to be non-existent for sure. They're going to have to put him against the right tackle, because if he goes against Trent Williams, it's going to be an ugly sight. 100% sure. The man hasn't allowed a sack this year, and he's just been mauling people in the run game. They want the pass rush from him. They're going to but they have 2 good ends, though, too, as well. Because I don't count Michael Parsons as a linebacker anymore. He rushes more than he is a linebacker anymore now. They still got DeMarcus Lawrence. So really, you got to play to your side, though. You think DeMarcus Lawrence is going to get more pressure against Trent Williams, or you think Michael Parsons is?
I think Randy Gregory's going to get pressure on off of Trent Williams.
I don't think he is.
If Michael Parsons make plays, it's like a domino effect. He makes plays. The rest.
I can see it in the domino effect. Yes, I just don't. I don't see it, man. I don't see anyone. Like I said, I mean, the man's done won against almost everybody this year and has not allowed a sack this year, which obviously playoffs is different. As I said, playoffs is completely different, but he has been completely stout this whole entire year. Like Aaron Donald, Von Miller, all of them guys, like Danielle Hunter, Trey Henderson, like no sack. Like he's not allowed a sack this whole entire year. I just can't see it being to Micah Parsons, though. I just don't. I don't foresee it. I don't foresee it going. I think they have to strategically put him on that right tackle side. I think he'll get his most pressure from over there on that side, regardless, though. Regardless of what it is, it's going to be a fun game. I am excited about this game. BJ is hilarious.
What do you say?
He said, Vaughn, man, get the fuck out of here. He hate Von Miller. Hey, man, Vaughn still got a little juice in him, man. Relax.
I'm not a Von Miller
I'm
fan either,
going
but he's a
now.
beast. But I don't like him as a
We do
person.
have
I don't like him.
the late game that night. Starts at 8:15. The Steelers play the Kansas City Chiefs that night, and I'm gonna start this one off. I'm taking the Steelers in this game to win. I think I had the Steelers 27-20 winning this
Yep,
game.
Yep.
Chad, what you got?
That's all you got to say. You gonna talk about the game? You know.
No, I'm leaving that to you. This you all should on that.
I want to hear what you have to say about the game. Go ahead, Chad.
Let me first off by saying congrats to the Steelers. They had a rocky season, but they were able to overcome all of their obstacles and get to the playoffs. That is first off remarkable at the end of the day. And it was led by that defense. Very, very, very impressed by that defense. TJ Watt is going to pick up his first Defensive Player of the Year award too this year, which is very huge. He definitely deserves it. I was hoping that he broke the sack record. He obviously tied it, but he was half a sack away from breaking it. I was hoping that he did as well, but he's going to be back in that conversation next year as well. The guy's a beast. And obviously you got my boy Cam Hayward on that defensive line as well from Ohio State. Always going to support. I love the Steelers organization. I love Mike Tomlin. Now that I got that out the way as well, though. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a fun game. I want to see, like I said, the key to this game, once again, is obviously that pass rush has to get to him, which they will. That pass rush will get to Patty Mahomes this game, and they're going to put him under distress. So that's going to be the fun part of it. For the Steelers on the offense-wise, Najee Harris, and their defense isn't that good, as we know. The Chiefs' defense isn't that good. They do have a way, though, of playing better in the playoffs, which is so weird with them. Their defense sucks in the regular season every single year, and then when it comes to playoff time, they actually step it up. As Dennis, if you remember, when they won the Super Bowl, I told you guys that I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been you and Sean. I told you Frank Clark and Chris Jones was going to have a sack each.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then they definitely went out there and got 2 sacks each. That's what I'm not expecting that, but once again, though, I do think the Chiefs are going to step up this game. But for the Steelers-wise, I think Najee Harris has to get going early. I think Big Ben has to limit his turnovers as well. The key thing is, though, that the Chiefs haven't played too great lately. I think they have a chance. I definitely think the Steelers have a chance to beat them. I think Deontay Johnson is going to have a good game. I got Juice. I love the guy. He's a beast. I think that defense is going to be kind of a deciding factor. Ultimately, though, and like I said, here's another positive part because I just learned that Edwards-Helaire is going to be out as well, so the run game is going to be kind of lacking as well, which he hasn't been there the whole year, but still he's been there time and time. But when he is in the game, he's a valuable part to the Chiefs. I think the deciding factor is, though, I think the Chiefs are going to be scoring regardless. I think they are going to go through their bumps and stuff. I think the Steelers defense is going to play a good game, but I just think they're going to end up getting tired out at the end of the day. Only reason being is because I don't know how well the run game is going to get going for the Steelers. I don't know how well it's going to be going for them to control that clock. So I think they're going to put the ball more into Big Ben's hands, maybe, which I think might hinder it a little bit. I have the game actually being close, though. I have a score being of 28-31, Chiefs way. I am expecting a good game regardless, though. Once again, though, Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the league. He needs to get more respect. Love the guy. He does wonders with makeshift teams. Like, he needs the respect that he deserves.
Okay. What you got, Chocolate here?
All right. Thank you for that, D-Wick and Dennis. I still would love to know your thoughts about the game, Dennis, but I am very proud of my team for getting there. Even when we got there, people bashed them because, of course, the only reason why you got there is because the Raiders and the Chargers didn't tie. Okay. And also because we actually won the last 2 games of the season for us too. Because if they had not tied and we didn't win those 2 games, we wouldn't have made it in the playoffs, y'all. That's the part you're sleeping on. We had to win, and they had to do that. and the Colts had to, wet the bed against the Jaguars, which they did. So all of that had to happen. It's like the conditions had to be exactly right for that tornado to form. And that's what happened. But our wins were part of that piece. I am so sick and tired of people disrespecting us and not acknowledging that and saying it's only because of the Raiders, Chargers, and Colts that you got in. It's not true. That being said, let's just get that out of the way, as Dennis likes to say. Let's just get that out of the way. This is a tough matchup for us because of who Patrick Mahomes is. But Chad is right about their run game. Edwards-Helaire, though, even when he's there, he's turnover prone. He's fumble prone. He fumbles the ball at some of the most inopportune times when you least expect it. All of a sudden, he comes up with a fumble, which is odd. But in regular games, he's pretty good. But then when you have a big game, like an in-conference game and all that, he'll fumble the ball. I've watched him for what is it, 2 years, 3 maybe, with that. And that's been an issue for me with him as a runner, period. It didn't matter what team he was playing for. But anyway, so that's that. I am concerned about our run game because of our O-line, young O-line. They are markedly better than they were week 1. I watched that O-line grow, change, get better throughout the season. They still looked bad by week 6, still looked bad by week 8. They didn't even show signs of improvement until like week 11 or 12, any signs. Then our cornerbacks and safeties forgot how to tackle. They weren't tackling anybody mid-season, still not tackling people, missing big tackles, obvious, wide open, easy to make tackles. And I saw some of that improve a little. And that's how we were able to get the last 2 wins. Najee had a hurt elbow. I was concerned about that. He says it's better. He did practice on Friday. Juju was out, had a shoulder injury that required surgery early in the season. He's been practicing the last couple of days. They're saying he may play tomorrow night. I'm going to say whether or not he does play, I don't believe that will be a big factor. The only concern I have about it is they've been clicking a little bit without him, and to insert him right before this big of a game is concerning to me, especially when you have such a young O-line and a few younger people in that stream. So I'm concerned about that. I'm not really concerned about Ben. Ben is Ben. Yeah, he's old and all this stuff. They want to call him a walrus and all this stuff, but he still has pedigree. And when the lights are the brightest and it seems like there's no way in hell you can win, I watched this dude the last 2 games muster up enough to win. And he hasn't gotten as many turnovers the last 4 games. He hasn't thrown for very many interceptions. I think 1 in the last 4 games. I think just 1. It might be more than that. Somebody else can fact check.
It was 1 against the Chiefs. I said the last one was the 1 against the Chiefs. Yeah. So,
I mean, he's been holding on to the ball. And if he can take care of the ball and certain things in the defense is the defense, we could pull this out. And I believe it's going to happen because they ain't supposed to be there. Remember, we're trash. I've been hearing this all season, how trash we are. We're not even supposed to be there. And Ben said it himself. Well, we don't have a chance, so why don't we just go out there and have fun? There are people out here actually taking that seriously, like he seriously believes that they don't have a chance. Y'all don't know Ben. Y'all don't even understand what he's saying. What he's saying is sarcasm, y'all, who don't have a sense enough to know. He is saying, oh, well, since we don't have a chance, well, hey, that's what they're saying. Y'all wrote us off week 4. Like Mike Tomlin said, you wrote us off week 4, wrote us off. And here we are. It ain't pretty, but we can get a W. So I believe that with Tomlin and the boys, that they're going to make this happen. I got us winning 28-24 in another upset. Oh,
One thing I will say too as well is I need TJ to have a big game. I need TJ to have a big game because last time he did play, he wasn't there. Cam had a good game.
That's because he wasn't 100%. You got to remember, he actually had an injury.
No, and I remember.
He played hurt. Mm-hmm.
I remember. But I am though, and Sharon, you know of me, that if you're on the field, you're on the field. I can't give you, obviously, I give you the excuse at the injury, but if you're on the field, you're on the field. Make your impact.
Well,
but I get it. I'm there with you. I'm there with
you. And I'm not saying it for an excuse necessarily, but I'm telling you, you got a person whose presence on the field, like Dennis was talking about, Micah Parsons, when TJ Watt makes a play, the entire team stands up. Even special teams, everybody. When he makes a play and things happen because of TJ Watt, everybody walks a little straighter. Everybody walks a little taller. Everybody's fired up. And so it was his decision to play hurt because having him out there is what made the difference, right? But he couldn't deliver what he wanted to deliver. And he acknowledged that he wasn't the best and maybe he shouldn't have played, but the game is over with. Now we're on to the next week. I mean, that's what he said. I'm just saying what he said. So yeah, he wasn't himself then. People like to refer back to that game and say, well, they whooped y'all before, they're gonna whoop you again. TJ wasn't 100% then. TJ 100% now. So let's go. Here we go.
It's gonna be a fun matchup for him versus Orlando Brown. That'll be a matchup that I'll be looking at. Yeah, him versus Orlando Brown Jr. That'll be a fun matchup. So I am excited to see that for sure.
Hope they push his ass down in the dirt.
Yeah,
like that.
TJ is going to make that team. And Mike Tomlin is going to prepare them. The one thing I didn't mention, I should have mentioned in this game. Sorry about that, Sharon. But this is the game of who is the second best active coach in the NFL. That's what I meant to say. That's what a lot of people want to know. So I actually want to see this game to see who, when the coaching comes down to it, who is the second best active NFL coach in the game.
Well, last year you said it was Andy Reid. That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
I honestly still think it is Andy Reid.
Well, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
It's Mike Tomlin.
We will see.
It's Mike Tomlin until it ain't. And it still is. That's the way I see it.
You will see. The last game, which is
he should be coach of the year, very frankly. He should be coach of the year.
I got to give that to Zach Taylor. I got to give it to Zach.
No, I'm not.
That's what I
said. Because the Bengals was a better team. He did more with less. Tomlin did more with less.
Tomlin did do more or less. I agree with you 100%.
Zach Taylor would not have gotten this Steelers team to the playoffs.
And once again, though, but we're talking about situations as well, though. In his situation, in Zach Taylor's defense, every single Bengals fan wanted him out of there after last season.
Oh, like
literally, they had his head on the stick.
Wait a minute. Do you know how many years in a row Tomlin's head been on the platter?
I get that.
Do you know how Steelers fans want him? No, Dennis. Steelers fans want him gone. I'm in these Steelers. Listen, I'm in these Steelers groups every day, calling for his head, calling him stupid, saying he don't know how to coach, saying he only won with Cowher's team, saying that he's this and that. Right. He doesn't have any discipline on the team. He can't control his players. He doesn't challenge enough. He loses challenges. Everything. Yeah. Steelers fans.
So no,
they said the same thing about Cowher.
No, and we get that. And I'm 100%.
Not like this, baby. Not like this.
Well, it wasn't social media then, but they said the same thing about Cowher.
I have the utmost respect for Mike Tomlin. Like I said, he's a great coach. I'm just saying in this aspect, in this year, a lot of analysts did not have, and this in general, just say analysts, a lot of fans, everybody wanted Zach Taylor guy. Everybody said he was just written off. And I know you're saying that Mike Tomlin's been going through. I know that. I understand that.
I got you.
But Zach Taylor was written off even before the season even started. And then to go on top of that, he took a team that only won 4 games the year before, 4 or 5 games the year before, got them to win a division time championship with you. Get a division title. And then on top of all that too, as well, the drafting by the team as well has been amazing. It has been amazing. Yes, he has the better team. I'm not disagreeing with you. But the drafting of the team that he's built, the team that he's been able to coach with, the hiring of his staff has just been amazing.
Wait, that he built? Or did the
Oh,
GM
well,
build
let
that?
me not say he built it completely, but he does have a hand in drafting as well. He does have a hand in drafting as well.
Coaches have a hand, but the GM got to say, and so does the owner.
The GM does have the juice, 100%, but he does have a hand in it. 100% he has a hand in it. But we'll see. We'll see who gets the coach of the year. And I'm not disagreeing.
It won't be, listen, I already know it won't be Tomlin. They will never give him his just due. He should have gotten coach of the year in 2019 when he went 8-8 without Ben. Ben got injured in the second game of the season, didn't play another down the rest of the season. And he ended up having to play. I said the number the other day, and I can't remember how many different lineups, especially on defense, that he had to play. He actually had to go sign people who weren't even in the league to fill out their practice squad because the practice squad players were starting. That's how many lines he had to go through, how many series he had to go, all of that. And he still got 8-8 with that trash. He did it. Didn't get any respect that year. BJ says I'm being biased. I'm not being biased. I would be this passionate about Zach if he had to deal with the same thing. My order for coach of the year goes Tomlin, Zach Taylor, Bill Belichick. That's my order for coach of the year.
Mine's is Zach Taylor and Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel's 4 for me.
I got Mike. I said Mike. I got Zach Taylor. I got Vrabel, and then I got LaFleur.
No, LaFleur, I mean, come on. Really? LaFleur? Look at the team. The team was great.
Once again,
a whole lot.
He's the second year coach.
He had to do a whole lot. Zach Taylor had to do some work to get them like that.
And that's why I won though.
And the growth of Jamar Chase to go from somebody who had drops problems to no drops.
That's why I have Zach Taylor at 1. I said Zach Taylor.
I did not say number 1 though.
I know.
I said Zach Taylor could have done nothing with the Steelers team. What Mike Tomlin did with this team this season is nothing short of a miracle. I don't really care if I'm a fan or not, BJ. You got to call it is what it is. You the one being biased because you hate the Steelers. So you never going to give Mike Tomlin credit, ever.
I believe Mike Tomlin deserved coach of the year last year for them screwing him through COVID and him still getting 11 wins in a row, even though they got screwed through COVID. Yeah, that's when I think he deserved it. Last year.
Couldn't even get a regular bye week. Yeah. The way they screwed his games when they redid his games.
Nobody even says that.
They screwed them, man. Nobody talks about that. Okay. Next man up. Okay.
Yeah, so let's get into this last game that is the newly found Monday Night Football game for the playoffs. Playoffs. Yeah.
Everybody mad that this is the game for Monday night. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's the Rams and the Cardinals. And this is another one of those division games. When you play somebody 3 times, it's hard. But they're playing at the Rams Stadium, but the Rams ain't got no fans. So I can see another sea of red at this game. Because the Rams don't have no fans. I just don't understand why they left St.
Shout out that a ticking out there.
Yeah, I don't understand why they left St. Louis. You left St. Louis to go to something prettier, but you ain't got no fans. That don't make sense. But like I said, I don't think Matthew Stafford wins this game. So if the Rams defense don't win it, the Arizona Cardinals will be victorious. I'm going with Kyler Murray with or without DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going with the score of I'm gonna say 30-24. You go ahead, Chad.
So I'm with you. I don't trust Matthew Stafford to win the game to an extent, especially of late. He's been a little iffy, but they do got my guy Cam Akers coming back, mixed with Sony Michel. And one thing that the Cardinals struggle with is run defense. I think they're going to run the ball down their throat, 100%. I think they're going to run the ball down their throat. You think Sean McVay is going to not run to take that chance to run the ball down the Cardinals' throat? I think Kyle Murray is going to actually struggle as well. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad game, but I think he is going to struggle, though. Not because of the pass rush or anything like that, because I do think Aaron Donald or Leonard Floyd, they're all going to get to him and stuff, but it's not going to be because of the pass rush and everything. They're not going to have DeAndre Hopkins. And that defense, that safety core and that defensive back core, they're not going to allow any of the other wide receivers to get loose. Christian Kirk has looked awful. I thought he was going to be way better than what he was. Their best wide receiver of late has been my guy, Jeremiah Green. Shout out to AJ Green. I still have my love for the guy. He's a beast. That has been their best wide receiver at late. And that's probably who Jalen Ramsey is going to end up going against if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play. It's no way that man's getting
how that went last time.
He got locked down. They got in a fight, but he got locked down. It didn't matter.
He got thrown out the game.
Once again, they got in a fight, but he got locked down. AJ Green was getting no touches. You got to remember, to get AJ Green mad. AJ Green's kind of like Marvin Harrison. They don't talk. They don't say anything. They go out there and play. They don't celebrate when they score. They just go out there and score touchdowns and play. So for him to get in AJ Green's head and get him to even do that, that just shows you. That just tells you that man, Jalen Ramsey, just got all in his head and he was locked down. I don't see the Cardinals getting any. I don't see the Cardinals getting loose this game. I don't see Kyler Murray having that good of a game unless they get the run game going with James Conner and shout out to James Conner because he's been actually decent this year as well too, and Chase Edmonds as well. Unless they get the run game going, that's the only way I can see it. Only way I can see them actually even having a chance. I want to say shout out to Odell, especially coming from Cleveland fans. I know you guys wanted him off the team, saying that he was a problem. Shout out to Odell. Odell's been going in, man. I'm actually excited to see Odell. It's not Odell of old, but it is Odell of still good, though, I will say. I have the Rams winning this game. I'm going to score with 35-28. Still have it being close. I said TJ, but J.J. Watt might play as well, too, they said, but not going to make a difference. Even when he went there in the first place, I said J.J. wasn't going to be like J.J. they expected, but it is going to be a confidence booster because if you get J.J., you get Chandler Jones out there, that is a confidence booster at the end of the day. I still have the Rams winning, though. I think Aaron Donald's going to terrorize that offensive line, and then Jalen Ramsey's shutting down any wide receiver they have there. And they got Eric Weddle back, too. Shout out to Eric Weddle. I don't know how that's going to go, but shout out to Eric Weddle.
Chocolate.
This is a game that I don't have a whole lot to say about, really. I've been disappointed as of late in Arizona's performances. But I believe in this, every game is a game of matchups, right? And Aaron Donald is still one of the best pure defensive players in the game right now. Overall, throughout his career. But we're talking this season. In this season, I don't feel he has been the best in the game this season. So I don't believe people fear him like they used to. Fear plays a lot of parts in your head when you're going up against a player. And I don't believe that the Cardinals fear him like they used to. That being said, you can never count him out. You would be making a mistake if you do that because he still has the eye of the tiger. He still is a force to be reckoned with. I agree. I'm very, very happy, like you mentioned, Chad, very happy with OBJ. I told everybody the problem in Cleveland was not Odell. Everybody want to talk about him and the net and the attitude and the stuff that he did when he left the Giants, when he was traded from the Giants. And they traded him there purposely for his career to die. And it almost did die. And I do believe that OBJ Sr. proved that old boy Baker, or I should say Faker Mayfield, was intentionally not targeting him and lied about it. I believe it. I mean, I saw what I saw on the video. That being said, I'm very happy for OBJ. He no, he's not the OBJ of old. That's what we say. Well, he's only been there a few games. I mean, he's just really getting back into the swing of being OBJ. You can't be OBJ if you're not getting targeted week in, week out, week in, week out. So he's only been there a few weeks in terms of the season. Let him warm up. That being said, I don't think the Rams are going to win this game. And it's because of their quarterback play. I believe that he's going to turn the ball over. And I think they're going to force him to. And I don't believe that he's going to deliver. So because of their quarterback play, I have to give the edge to Arizona. I believe James Conner is going to have a good game if he's come back from that injury from 5 days ago or so. I'm hoping that he does. He's former Steelers guy, and I love him. I still love him. And I'm so happy for his season. And I believe he steps up big time in this game. If J.J. Watt comes back, he won't be 100%. I don't think he's going to be the force. But he's got pedigree. So even a 90% J.J. Watt is something to deal with. And nothing to sneeze at. So I do have the Cardinals winning this game 31-28.
Okay.
So, I was one thing actually too as well. If we remember a while, actually 2 years ago now, when JJ was still in Houston, and he came back from that injury, literally was out kind of in the similar fashion, out for a whole entire year, and he came back in the playoffs, and that's when Houston was down, I think 28-5-3 or something. I don't know. They're losing bad. And he got that sack. And I remember us all being in a group chat. And I remember us all being in the actually same chat, I think, at the time. I think we were all in the chat though. And he got that sack, and that's when the game ignited. That's when he got the game ignited. So when JJ Watt's out there.
Oh, that was against the Bills.
It was against the Bills. Yep. It was against the Bills. You remember Josh Allen was over there going off at first. He started dancing and stuff, and he got that sack. And when he got that sack, it changed. That's when Deshaun Watson woke up. That's when that defense woke up. J.J. Watt has that ability to do that still. I still will say he has that ability. But one thing I did not mention, and I apologize, this is Von Miller's first playoff game since 2015. We know what Von Miller does in the playoffs. Even if he didn't play up to his standards this year, we know what Von Miller does in the playoffs. We know what he does in the playoffs. I do expect Von Miller to have a big game this game. I didn't say anything about it at first, but I do expect Von Miller to have a big game this game. He's not going to change the game, but he is going to have a big game, though.
I don't believe he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to be serviceable, but I don't think he'll have a big game. If he's not changing the game, his game won't be big. I'm saying
a sack and a half, Sharon. I'm gonna say a sack and a half. I say he gets a sack and a half. That's what I'm going.
I'll look out for it. I don't think he's going to get a sack. He might have some rushes or some touches, but I don't think he's going to get a sack.
I'm gonna say it straight up. Ain't nobody care. I don't know. Fine, no.
You're gonna be saying that until you see him tomorrow. It's gonna be. Monday. It's gonna get ugly.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out on Monday. I'm gonna have to say, listen, it's another good show. It was great to have Chad on here. We do have to give our final words. Chad, I'm gonna let you start with your final words.
Absolutely. Just final words, like I said, I want to say thank you guys for having me on the show, of course. Definitely 100% appreciate it. Definitely enjoyed it. Make sure you guys, like I said, tune in every week to the side, Jawn. Like I said, two great podcasters right here, two great hosts right here. So please make sure you guys tune in. Just final words for me, man. Go out there and enjoy life. Enjoy it to the fullest. Have fun. Life is so short. Just go out there and enjoy it. Have fun. Even if you have second thoughts about doing something, have fun. Try it. Go do it. And then ultimately, like I said, stays the same at this. Go Broncos. Go to my OHIO to my Buckeyes, man. Gotta love my Buckeyes. Always love my Buckeyes. But who they, man? I thought I would never say that in my life. Who they? Go out there and get that win, Joe Burrow. I'm counting on it from Houston. If I was in Cincinnati, I would be at the game right now. I'll be tailgating right now. I'm not in Cincinnati. I can't. I'll be watching it though. So go Buck. Go on Bengals. Who they, man? Let's get that win, Cincinnati.
Sharon, chocolate girl, please. Store some order in there, please.
Frozen water. You a trip. All right. Well, thank you guys out there watching. We thank you for being in the comments and participating. I promise you I will get back to reading more of the comments during the show. I'm sorry, I've just been off my game a little bit. But I promise I will get back to doing that more often during the show. Thank you so much for joining us, D-Wick. It was great having you. Even though it was like last minute decision, I appreciate the flexibility and in your desire to come on. And I really, really appreciate Dennis for, being in conversation with you about it and actually making it in with us this morning. Congratulations to you, fiance, baby on the way. Very, very happy to see the circle of life continuing in your life.
Thank you. I
Very
appreciate
positive
it.
energy coming from you and your move down there to Houston. And I wish you safety there and happiness and joy during your stay in Texas. Dennis, great co-host. Thank you for doing this show with me every week. I enjoyed this show very much. The insights, the things, the lessons, the things that we shared was great. I think our audience got a few things out of it, and we're leaving them a little bit more than they came with. So I think that's a good thing. There's no substitute for hard work. You got to work hard, but you got to work smart, right? So be efficient with your time. Don't waste time on what's not important. That's the lesson I want you to learn. Do not waste time on things that are not the most important to you. Invest your time in the things that champion you, things that feed your soul. Don't waste time on frivolous things because they don't carry you through the hard times. But those important things will. So that's my words of wisdom for the day. Thank you so much for joining us on the side, Jawn, every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Your last words, Dennis?
I want to say happy birthday to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is his birthday weekend. A lot of people call it the MLK weekend. Yeah, I definitely want to say happy birthday to him. And we always appreciate the great things that he's done for us as Black people and also for this country. I also want to thank Chad for coming on, man. Out of his busy schedule, working, baby on the way, about to get married. He still came on to make sure he did the show. Sharon, like I said, it's always great having you. This show, like I said, me and you together. You said, like you told me the other day, you said there's a lot of people that don't even know that we ain't even, really know each other like that. But everybody think we've been friends for like 10, 20 years. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy how our connection is. Great connection.
18 months.
Yes. Great connection, only for some time. The side Jawn, this is very dear to me. I love it because, I don't just usually just talk sports on here. I actually show some growth that I don't want to really be put in a box. So that's why I'm in love with the side Jawn as much. Mm-hmm. I know that's bad. I know that's kind of bad to say like that, but that's why it is. I just didn't want to be put in a box like, oh yeah, he's a sports guy. No, I'm actually a little versatile. I can do a couple of different things here. But like I said, I appreciate the fans, appreciate everybody for coming out. This was a very good show. I know it was too long for some people, but we did what we could do. God bless. Great day.